Hey, what's going on, everyone? You should have the September update for Infusionsoft live in your application at this point. And there were a handful of features that I was pretty excited about, and one that I'm just not quite on board with yet. So I wanted to shoot a quick video here just to review. So feature number one is they've added a whole bunch of new currencies for the e-commerce section. So this is super exciting. Obviously, it doesn't impact my business because I sell in US dollars, but I know that this is something a lot of people have been reaching for. So if you have a different local currency and it wasn't previously listed, double check this list because there are a bunch of new ones now. However, Infusionsoft still doesn't support multiple currencies for one application. But to me, this is a big step in the right direction, so that's pretty exciting. The next update is the campaign builder, and I'm actually going to save this new menu layout for last to talk about that, because first I want to talk about specifically the email builder and a few changes that have come to the email builder. So let's dive right into the email builder here, and I'll show you that they've added the ability to add a signature snippet, right? So rather, I should say they've brought that back. So with the old email builder, right, you could just drag out your signature snippet, etc. And now with the new email builder, you can do that again. However, it doesn't work exactly the same way. So of course, you select your name, right, and it draws in your signature, but it's not coming from the signatures tab on your contact record or on your user record. When I go to the signatures tab, right, this isn't the same signature that it's drawing into that email. You can see it's a little bit different. And so I was kind of like, hey, where's this coming from? And if this is legacy, where's the new signature setup? And I couldn't find it. But it's actually here on the general tab. And I must have missed this, or maybe it wasn't documented, or maybe it wasn't announced, but right here from your main user profile, it's going to aggregate the information you've populated. So it's going to take your company, your title, your email, your website, and it gives you a place to upload an image. And it's going to use those to automatically format a good-looking HTML signature. So to me, that's terrific. That's great. The only drawback to that would be if you didn't want this information to be in your signature, right? If you wanted to just custom design your own. So that would be the one concern where I don't think someone would be excited. But for the most part, this is a big win because it doesn't require you to know any HTML in order to create an attractive signature. So the second update to the email builder that I'm excited about is the ability to customize the footer. So if you just click on the footer section of the email, you can see there's additional footer text. That's this section here. You can see there is an unsubscribe link pretext, the unsubscribe link text, and then unsubscribe link post text. And the reason I like this so much is because it allows you to craft a paragraph, right, by typing what you want before the link, and then right in line with it, it has the word unsubscribe, and then the post text to finish that sentence. So you can build an unsubscribe that reflects your brand. One of the last times you might interact with someone is right before they click that unsubscribe link. And if they want off your list, of course you want to make it easy for them, but this juncture is the last opportunity you have to demonstrate a little personality or to show them the value that your list is providing, or remind them of the value of your content before they take off and ride off into the sunset. So I like that we can now edit those. Okay, so the next update, and this is actually a pretty big one, the next update that I am excited about is the ability to achieve a goal, right, and therefore trigger automation when a quote has some sort of update, right? So quote update, and when I go to configure this goal, it's going to take action when a quote is, and you can choose sent, viewed, declined, accepted with payment options unavailable, accepted with payment options available, will pay later, or when it's paid, right? So you can actually trigger automation when somebody views your quote and then stop that automation when they pay it. You can run different automation when they decline it. There's a whole bunch of options and opportunity that this opens up. The one concern, or the biggest concern I have about this is sort of similar to the opportunity automation, right? So when somebody is in an opportunity and they might have multiple opportunities for that contact record, well, the goal has a hard time with that because, right, it just listens for that goal to be achieved. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it knows which opportunity, or in this case, which quote is being achieved. So if I have, let's go ahead and create a second one, right? If I have my quote viewed, right, and then I have quote paid over here, and in between I have a sequence, right? Well, if somebody views a quote and then they view a second quote, right, and then they pay, well, Infusionsoft is going to have a hard time with that because it doesn't know. They can only be in this sequence once, and then if they pay, it pulls them out, but they still should have follow-up on the second quote that they viewed. So there's just some niche circumstances that this could get a little bit messy for that you should be aware of. But if you're only sending one quote at a time, right, you're only quoting on one product, that should be a non-issue, and this automation is a big improvement, a big step in the right direction, in my opinion, for the quotes feature. Okay, let's see what else we've got. We've got the currencies, we got the automation for quotes, we got the email builder footer, the signature snippet. Okay, so that's about the size of things. The last item I want to talk about is the update to the campaign builder interface. So obviously, if you've been using Infusionsoft, you remember the menu used to be over here. A few months back, maybe 6 or 8 months ago, they trimmed that menu down to be a little thinner, a little sleeker, and they condensed all of the goals into one goal icon that you would bring out and configure. Well, they've gone and changed things on us again, and they've moved the menu to the left side. Item number one that I notice is I don't currently have a way to dock this or to collapse it, and that would be nice because, you know, a lot of times your campaigns sprawl beyond the canvas that you have here, so in order to use more of the space, it would be nice to be able to collapse that menu. But the second item that I'm concerned about is they broke all of the goals out independently, and previously all I had to do was click on the badge and I could change that goal type. But now I don't have that option. So if I wanted to change what was triggering this campaign, I literally have to delete this goal, and then I have to drag out a new one, and I have to label this new goal, new name, I have to attach this goal to the sequences it was attached to, and unfortunately, I have to reconfigure that decision diamond, which, you know, I only have 2 sequences here, but if that had been attached to 10 sequences, or if that had been attached to just maybe 2 or 3, but with a bunch of rules in there, well, obviously that's a pain for me to have to go back and redo some of the work I had previously done. Now, I'm well aware that there's a lot of people who would say, well, Greg, what you should do is add a sequence here, right? And then build your decision diamond. And just leave this sequence empty, and, you know, go ahead and attach your goal to that sequence so that when you configure your goal, you can easily delete that and not have to worry about the decision diamond, because now there's a sequence kind of buffer keeping that decision diamond in place and not having to break it down and reconfigure it. So I understand that there's plenty of people who feel that way. But that's a workaround. In my opinion, that's not necessarily acceptable, because I don't want to have to plan because Infusionsoft has removed some of the functionality that I was dependent on. And I would argue that sometimes you need to be able to switch the goal, right? A few months ago, there was a bug where purchase goals were firing on subscriptions. So the second and third and fourth payment of a subscription were achieving that initial purchase goal and launching the same automation. So the workaround for that was to, you know, add the purchase goal. So when somebody buys, they would get that purchase goal, and then they would get a tag, and then they would go into the following sequence or the rest of the campaign from that tag. So that's what we did. But in order to do that, I had to switch all of my purchase goals to tag goals by clicking on that little badge, and then I had to move the purchase goal upstream, and you just wouldn't be able to do that with the new goal configuration, or maybe its lack of configuration. So I understand what they're reaching for in terms of calling these what they are, and I like that they've broken them all out again. But I'm not at a point yet where I see the value in the right direction, and so maybe this will grow on me. So if you think this is the right way to go, and keeping this badge just as the one goal and removing it when you need to change the goal, if you're on board with that, or if that resonates with you, then help me see it that way, or maybe, post below this video that, it doesn't bother me that much. But if you're like me and you think that this is a step in the wrong direction, or you just haven't wrapped your head around it yet, then maybe you can help raise that concern to Infusionsoft. Just hop on with chat support and let them know that you wish that they would bring that back, because to me, that's like I said, I think it's a pretty critical function that they've taken away, and I don't quite see the logic behind it. So that's it for this update. I think all in all, a lot of good improvements. I love how far the email builder has come. Lots of good things happening there, and if you've been using it for a while, or if you've been holding off on using it, it's nearly full featured. I'm still waiting on them adding an HTML snippet, a custom HTML snippet for that, but most of the things that I need are now built into that. And if you've been waiting on new currencies, well, hopefully that scratches that itch for you. And then finally, if you were waiting on customizing your footer or the language in your footer, or you needed to add legal conditions or terms to the bottom of your emails, well, that's there now as well. So that's it for the September update. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Later.